Both of us single dads from the Midwest, we can talk about it. Both of us single dads from the Midwest, we can talk about it. Both of us single dads from the Midwest, we can talk about it. Or we can get gully, I'll size up your body and put some white chalk around it.
Welcome to the Single Dads of the Midwest, episode 31. After a brief hiatus, we are back on track, and I'm joined by the amazing Don/Sheldon, who, as I've referred to many times, single-handedly keeps this podcast alive, and is also one of the world's leading Waluigi experts, which is what we're going to talk about today. Don, would you like to introduce yourself?
I think you summed it up well. I know about Waluigi, and that is why I'm here.
All right, and that begs the first question. Why Waluigi specifically? What made you want to become an expert in this character versus many of the others in the Nintendo world?
That is a great question. I feel like Waluigi is one of the least understood characters in the Mario franchise. Everyone knows about Mario and Peach and Luigi and Bowser, but who takes a step back and looks at the villains? Who takes a step back and looks at the rivals? I think Waluigi is a very complex and fascinating man, if he is a man and not some other sort of being. We don't really know.
Interesting. So why not, though, the other villains like Bowser or Wario, for example?
I feel like, well, Bowser has his own, he gets enough attention, right? Like Bowser, he's the main villain. Everyone knows about him. And Wario at least has his own video game series. He has his own, like, WarioWare. And so you get a sense of who this guy is and what he's about. But Waluigi doesn't have his own Nintendo game. And I believe that Waluigi needs his own game for us to truly understand and appreciate the person that is Waluigi.
So one could argue that Wario and Luigi, or Waluigi, in some ways represent the shadows of Mario and Luigi. So maybe before we get to Waluigi specifically, maybe we can explore the differences between the regular Mario and the regular Luigi and how that might correspond to Wario and Waluigi, if that makes sense.
That's a great question, because as you said, you really can't understand Waluigi without understanding his relationship to Mario and Luigi and Wario. I mean, Alex, do you know the first game that Mario was in?
Wasn't he actually in the Donkey Kong, like that Kong game where he was like throwing
Yes.
cans down at Mario and somehow he like showed up or something?
Yes, he wasn't even in a Mario game. He was in Donkey Kong. And you know how Mario got his name?
I actually don't know.
All right, so this is sort of a legend. And back in the day, Nintendo had an office in North America. And one day they were behind on their rent payment. And so the building manager storms into the Nintendo office, like shouting and screaming and getting, hey, like, you're behind on your rent. I'm going to like shut you down. And this guy was, very Italian. He had a very thick accent, and his name was Mario. So they had such an impression of this man that they decided to name their character Mario after him.
That's amazing. And maybe let's go into the lore a little bit. I mean, I've played the games, but I don't really know the lore. I mean, I know there's Mario, Princess Peach is abducted by Bowser. He goes to save Princess Peach, so clearly Mario and Peach have a relationship. I know Luigi's the brother, and he comes later, and that's about where my knowledge stops.
That's a great summary. Like Mario, let's start with Mario.
Sure.
Mario is the hero of the Mario games. He's a good guy. He's friendly, positive, and he's strong and confident. Everyone looks to Mario when they need someone to save the day and be a hero. No one looks for Luigi. They look to Mario. So Mario gets all the attention. He's in the spotlight. That's cool. But then this is where Luigi comes in. Do you know why Luigi exists?
I do not.
It's kind of funny because it shows that even when Luigi was made, he was always player 2. They needed to make a second player for the Mario game. So they took the same model of Mario and changed the color to green. And that was Luigi. He's literally a copy of Mario.
But clearly developed into something very different over time.
Yeah. Because Mario is like, he's cool, he's confident, he's friendly. But Luigi is like a copy of Mario, but not as Mario is. Like, Mario is the hero, Luigi is the sidekick. Mario gets all the attention, and Luigi gets left behind. Mario is confident, where Luigi is the kind of guy who got tricked into living in a haunted mansion 3 times. Luigi is a coward. He's afraid of ghosts. He's afraid of a lot of things. I have a little soft spot for Luigi, but part of me says that Luigi just isn't as cool as Mario. If I was going to be Mario or Luigi, I'd rather be Mario.
Okay. Interesting. So he represents a different character than Mario, definitely. But doesn't he also have like a separate girlfriend or partner?
Yeah, he has Daisy. So
Daisy,
even
yes.
Mario has Peach, Luigi has Daisy. But Luigi never gets the same attention that Mario does. Daisy doesn't get the same attention that Peach does. And you have to wonder why this is.
Well, I mean, when the game is called Super Mario Bros., there's sort of an inherent bias towards one character.
But Alex, why doesn't Nintendo make Super Luigi? They always make Mario games. Don't they want to alternate and give Mario's brother a time in the spotlight?
Well, there were some specific games, right? Like Luigi's Mansion, right?
Yeah, where he's like the bumbling fool. It's like Nintendo is trying to make this guy into the second-rate Mario brother. And hey, they're called the Mario Brothers, even though only one of them is named Mario. That means their last name is Mario.
What do you feel
character's name is Mario?
Wouldn't you feel it's reductive though if Luigi had the exact same personality profile as Mario?
Oh man, that is a good point. They can't be exactly the same. That wouldn't be as interesting and dynamic. There's got to be like the older brother, younger brother dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Mario's the younger brother and Luigi resents him for getting all the attention.
Ooh, that's a good point. I actually don't know the history. I mean, do you know if one is older than the other?
I don't. There's a lot of mysteries in the world of Mario that I don't think I'm ever going to answer. So somewhere out there, like the number one Mario expert probably has some of these answers. I wonder who that would be. But anyways, I digress. We need to move on to Wario.
Yes, I was going to say
talked about the hero Mario, the sidekick Luigi. But who is this Wario? Who is this 4chan? Who is this Wario?
You tell us, because honestly, I know that he's just like the dark side, and then he has a motorcycle that he sometimes throws, and he also like eats things and has bad breath or something like that.
Dude, you know more about Wario than most people. I've been telling this to people for so long, and they don't even know that Wario rides a motorcycle. They don't know that he has bad breath, but he does.
I know this from playing Super Smash Bros. That is where a lot of this knowledge comes in.
Nice. So do you know how they got the name Wario?
I mean, other than maybe like doing a upside down M, I can't think of it.
Kind of like that. But in Japanese, the word for bad is waruri. W-A-R-U-I.
Ah. Okay.
So you put together war, W-A-R-E-O, you got evil Mario.
That makes sense.
Evil Mario. And so I see Wario he is like a shadow Mario. He is like the evil Mario. He is the reverse of Mario, where Mario is good, Wario is bad. Where Mario is nice, Wario is mean. Where Mario smells nice, Wario has bad breath. He's a big, fat, evil villain. He works with Bowser and Waluigi, and he is always up to no good.
What are his origins? Is he the illegitimate child or just some separate family or something else entirely?
Dude, that's a question that I've been asking ever since I laid eyes on Wario. Is he Wario's long-lost brother? We don't know. It's possible that he's from an alternate universe and they have been rivaling each other in this dimension that is a Mario game, because only one Mario or Wario is allowed to be. It's mysterious.
And that brings us to the character that this episode is about, Waluigi. I really don't have much, honestly, I don't have a crazy conception of Waluigi other than he has a mustache and he kind of has the same color scheme as Wario.
Oh my god. So we are literally like getting less and less detailed as this show goes on.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows about Mario. Everyone knows what he looks like. He's red shirt, blue overalls, the hat. He's a little bit short, a little bit of a tummy, but he's still cool. Luigi, green Mario, less interesting, a little bit taller. Who cares? Wario, he has a yellow shirt or something. I don't know. Short, fatter than Mario. And then Waluigi. No one knows about Waluigi. It's a shame. Do you know Waluigi's origin story?
No, not at all.
You're not going to believe this. But the first time Waluigi is introduced in a Mario game. Do you know what game it is?
No, I don't.
It's Mario Tennis. And do you know why Waluigi is in Mario Tennis as his first game?
I would imagine that Wario needed a partner for doubles.
Yes. So the crazy thing is, he doesn't come out as a villain in another like legitimate complete Mario game. He comes out in Mario Tennis. And have you seen the cutscene where Waluigi is first introduced to the viewer?
No, but if you link that, I'll also add that in the description.
The thing is, this is where my mind gets blown, right? So we see the tennis court, and we see Mario and Luigi standing on one side. And on the other side, we see Wario, Shadow Mario.
Sure.
And the Mario brothers look over, and then Waluigi appears. And Mario is shocked. He cannot comprehend that someone like Waluigi can exist. But Luigi, the coward, calmly shakes his head and says, Luigi not afraid. Luigi not afraid. So you're telling me that the hero of the entire Mario series is afraid of Waluigi.
Yeah.
But Luigi, the bumbling sidekick, is not afraid? This blew my mind. How can this be? Let's think about who Waluigi is and what he is like.
Okay.
Well, he is like the reverse Luigi. Or maybe he's a copy of Wario. I'm not really sure. No one's really sure. But we can look at every appearance of Waluigi in the Mario franchise and see certain things repeat. We see him described as mischievous. Mischievous. He's an evil guy with a crooked mustache. He's the kind of guy who likes to party. He's outgoing. He's always up to no good. Waluigi is the kind of guy who doesn't really care what other people think. He just wants to get some gold, have a good time and go home. He's not there to impress anyone. But there is one line that does appear in the sources over and over. Waluigi thinks he is Luigi's biggest rival. Waluigi thinks he is Luigi's biggest rival. Now, why would Nintendo put this in their games over and over? Why don't they just say Waluigi is Luigi's biggest rival? What's up with that?
I could only imagine it's like maybe the same person, like a Jacqueline Hyde situation. Maybe. I mean, that's just one hypothesis.
My theory is that Waluigi manifests all of Luigi's deepest desires. And at some level, Luigi wants to be like Waluigi, where Luigi is shy, Waluigi is outgoing, where Luigi is reserved and bumbling. Waluigi likes to party and have fun. And Luigi wants to be a little bit mischievous, but he is always slotted into the role of the hero. And he never gets to have a little fun,
So basically, Jungian psychology is coming out in terms of like the shadow, like all the repressed or stuff on a pedestal is put into Waluigi from Luigi's standpoint.
Exactly. We don't know whether Luigi and Waluigi are brothers. We don't know if Wario and Waluigi are partners in crime or lovers or just two dudes with the same goal: stop the Mario brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I believe Waluigi deserves his own video game. We, the audience, need to know the truth. We need to know the real Waluigi. Is he the character that he's always painted as? Is he really an evil guy who only cares about his rivalry with Luigi? Or does he have his own dreams? Does he have his own personality? He's spent his entire career being defined by who he is not. And no one has really seen the true heart of Waluigi.
So if you were in charge of a Waluigi game, how would you design it? Who would be the villain, so to speak, or the antagonist? How would you design the gameplay to explore this dynamic?
About this for a long time. It's called Waluigi's Detective Agency.
Ooh.
And the cover is going to be this happy sunshine and rainbows, like very, very Nintendo game, right? But it's going to be rated M for mature.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a jump.
The game starts out kind of like a Phoenix Wright sort of game, maybe, and you're going through solving these mysteries at Waluigi's Detective Agency. They start out very happy and normal and bright and haha, that's funny. Let's put a pun in there. Let's put some rainbows in there. We're gonna have a good time. Mm-hmm. But as you advance through the story, the mysteries get darker and darker. And Waluigi is the detective who can't remember his own story. So as you're progressing through the game, you're playing the role as Waluigi uncovering his own past.
This sounds like Shutter Island a little bit.
And by the time you get to the final chapter of Waluigi's Detective Agency, the player will be shown why this Nintendo game is the only M-rated Nintendo game.
Wow. That actually sounds like if done right, a really fun game to play, a very interesting game.
Nintendo is doing their fans a disservice by not making this game and not hiring me. So if Doug Bowser is out there, you know where to find me.
So going back to gameplay development, has Nintendo ever done an M-rated game before?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so that would be
I think
already
there's
a. I mean, I feel like there might be a way to be more serious without having to go that far. Just in terms of like Nintendo not being known for its M rating. Although this could be pushing boundaries, so maybe that's the. It would be like a kind of a bold move in a sense.
I mean, Nintendo's brand is like family friendly, wholesome entertainment, right? They're not going to release a first person shooter.
Sure. Uh, yeah, I mean that would be probably too much off brand. But yeah, exploring Waluigi might be uh, interesting. I'm curious because in terms of like hero villain dynamics, do you know much about the Flash and Reverse Flash?
No, tell me more.
So obviously there's a lot of different iterations of this in comic books over the time, but it's a very interesting story. So this is the Flash. There are multiple Flashes in history, but we're referring to a Barry Allen Flash. So Flash is a speedster, which means he runs really fast. So fast, in fact, that he can travel in time because he can go faster than the speed of light theoretically. So time travel is involved, usually in Flash's universes. So one of the interesting things is that it's really crazy. So years in the future, like centuries in the future, Flash is like memorialized like an amazing hero, and there's this guy named Eobard Thawne who like idolizes the Flash, and like so much so that he wants to gain his powers and gains the Saiyans experiments, and then he learns Flash's greatest villain in history is the Reverse Flash. But then he realizes that like he is bound to be this like Reverse Flash. Like he tries to go in time to take Barry's place, but he's not able to do so because by eliminating the Flash, then he wouldn't have been inspired in the first place. So he ends up becoming this like villain to the Flash called the Reverse Flash. And he kind of hates his own hero in a sense. It's very interesting. I would look this up. I would just read this on Wikipedia. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, I love like DC comics, so those sort of I feel like DC has like the best hero villain dynamics, like the Batman and the Joker,
Yeah.
Superman and Lex Luthor, Flash, Reverse Flash. Like I feel like the Marvel is obviously killing it in the movie game, but I feel like their hero villain dynamics aren't that exciting.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this bad guy who wants to destroy the world. All right, Avengers, let's suit up and punch this guy.
Yeah, I mean Lex Luthor is a fascinating character because he's in many iterations considered to be the smartest person or one of the smartest people in like the earth, like even smarter than Batman and stuff like that. So it's like just insane.
Dude, I feel like I got to go back and watch some of those movies, or like, I don't really read comics, but maybe I should like read some comics to like understand these characters.
If you're gonna watch shows, I recommend three specific shows: Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, which are essentially one show, and then Young Justice. Young Justice is on HBO Max, but those are all amazing shows.
Dude, people keep telling me, hey, watch these shows. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put it onto my list.
Yeah.
But then the list keeps growing and it never shrinks.
I feel that. But going back to Waluigi, it does seem like an interesting contrast to Luigi. What else should we know about this character? I mean, I'm going in pretty much blank in terms of knowledge.
I read something recently. This is like the last thing I want to say is that one of the people from Nintendo, like one of the character designers, he said that Waluigi is secretly resentful that he doesn't get enough success. So this is kind of challenging my theory about Waluigi being the kind of guy that doesn't care what other people think, just likes to party. But no, Waluigi does care, at least at some level. So I really want Nintendo to make a new game and explore this dynamic between Waluigi and Luigi. And we need to see what happens when these two heroes and anti-hero like have their own rivalry, right? And maybe Luigi wins because he doesn't care about Waluigi. Maybe the only winning move is not to play.
Like what I did with dating. Anyway, no, that was just a joke. Well, kind of true, but going back to that dynamic, I feel like in some ways it's sort of the shadow in reverse. In some ways, then Luigi represents maybe repressed or things put on a pedestal for Waluigi.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would definitely like. I think you would really like. Just look up on Wikipedia. I'll send you a link. Eobarthon, the Reverse Flash, because it's fascinating, and I feel like in some way parallels this dynamic between Luigi and Waluigi.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is about these four characters, Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi?
Mm-hmm.
They're all voiced by the same man.
Oh, wow. Do you know which person or?
I don't remember his name, but he is the voice of the Tetrarchy.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. And going back to the partners in terms of Daisy and Peach, what are their personalities? Because I feel like other than Peach being a damsel in distress, I don't know much, and I really don't know anything about Daisy.
Yeah, neither do I. I know that there are some fan theories like Peach is starting to get more attention these days. Like Peach is like, right, nice but strong. She could kick your ass if she wanted to, but she chooses not to.
I thought that's Daisy, but okay.
I don't know. Daisy seems like a copy of Peach, but not as good. She has to fit with the whole Luigi Mario dynamic. But I don't know. I feel like that relationship is deserving of its whole own podcast episode.
Wow. Are you an expert in this, or would we have to find someone else?
No, you got to find someone else. My heart is dedicated to Waluigi.
Waluigi. Do you plan on going as Waluigi for Halloween, or have you gone in the past?
I have not, but I'm thinking about it because I'm already shaped like Waluigi, so it's not that hard to pull off.
Fair enough. I think. I mean, all I know is that he's like kind of on the taller side, so I have no other like idea. And his mustache. Those are the only two things. Which I'm
I
assuming.
gotta spend 8 months growing out a Waluigi mustache.
I feel like just doing a glue-on thing would probably be easier, but I would respect the dedication if you did that. That's awesome. Any other concluding thoughts for our listeners on Waluigi?
Wow.
I think that about sums it up. But yeah, thank you, Don. That was like an interesting character study. I think that like video games are often sometimes, well, I think video games are often penalized in many different ways. I mean, obviously, first-person shooters comes with its own baggage and political aspects, but even video games in general, like Mario or anything, I think they're sometimes deemed as being childish or like, just silly or dumb. But I think in some ways, a lot of these games have a lot of depth to them, and there's a lot of interesting character studies and character dynamics. I mean, really, same with comics as well. And I think the Waluigi, the Mario, the Wario dynamic, the Mario Luigi dynamic, Luigi and Waluigi dynamic, obviously are like very interesting like personality profiles. It would be also interesting to see, if you know anything, the relationship between the Wario and Waluigi, or like their dynamic as like partners in crime, so to speak.
I wish I did, but we have to wait for Nintendo to give us some more information. Until
Well, I feel
then,
like the next step is you getting hired. Like you need to build your, I mean, you'll have a chance to build out the actual history. Like you can literally write Waluigi in your own, not image, but in your own like conception.
reality can be whatever I want.
Exactly. But yeah, thank you very much, Don, for coming on. Like as always, like you help keep this podcast alive, and it's glad to talk about interesting things. A few podcasts ago, we're talking about firearm safety, and now we're talking about interesting personalities in video games. So I'd like to think this podcast provides a variety of things for a lot of different people.
Good to be here.
Thanks. All right. Have a good rest of your day, Dom.